Hello, Holly Lynn here. Hello to all of my new math friends from close by here in North Carolina and around the world and around the country. We've got participants from places like San Antonio, Texas, Boise, Idaho. Let's see, up in New York, Massachusetts, Colorado, out in California, lots of different places around the U.S., as well as different countries like India, South Africa, New Zealand. What are some of the Philippines, Spain? So I am just so excited that many of you have chosen to come together. Well, many of us are moving to online learning and teaching, and to come together to support yourself in this learning journey for you as a math teacher. It warms my heart that so many of you have chosen to spend your time together here in this platform. I want to do a quick video just to show you some of the features of the course that you may or may not have discovered up to this point. So I'm registered. I'm doing the view of the course right now as a participant, so it should appear as you see it without my special editing capabilities. So if we scroll down, I'm sure that you all have seen the different things that kind of live outside of the units. Make sure that if you're interested in earning a certificate, that you visit the earning a certificate page to just make sure that you're following which activities you need to engage in order to earn that 20-hour certificate that could be used for professional development hours or continuing education units, whatever your local district or education agency might call these things. Also, there is a weekly live chat that happens every Thursday at 11 a.m. Where you can join in. It's just a text-based chat. And maybe at some point we'll add in some Zoom meetings so that we can see each other face-to-face as well. There's also an open forum where you can discuss anything that you would like. And I'll go into that forum here in a moment. And if you would just like to be able to quickly get into some of the class discussions and to follow things, you can use this button here. So you can see what discussions you have participated in and how many responses you have read. You'll notice that there is this tracking of yes and subscribe. You can subscribe to a forum if you would like to get emails notifications about them. And you can also suggest a digest. So the default is to not get a digest, but you could get complete posts or just about particular subjects. So explore that if you would like to also follow along with some of the discussions. Let me go back out here. One of the things that I have noticed is that in some of the introductions and in some of the discussion forums, you all have been saying hello to people that you recognize their names, which tells me that there are many of you that are in local districts or states where you've met each other through different venues. So I would really encourage you to think about forming a small group with people that you could meet with outside of the course platform to discuss what you're learning and to share different ideas. So in here, I have different facilitation guides that could help you as a group to think about the things you might want to discuss. So there may be one of you that decides, that steps up and says, hey, I'll volunteer to be a leader for a group. Others that maybe that some groups will just come together kind of on their own and no one is necessarily designated as a leader. But you could use the facilitation guide to kind of help you think about things that you could discuss. Of course, these are only ideas. Please structure your small group learning in ways that are most meaningful to you and in the context of your group and what you all want to learn from this course. So think about those. So, what if you're in this course and you recognize some folks' names? So I'm going to go into actually the orientation and go into the meet your colleagues. And let's say that you are, you see somebody in here that you're like, oh, wow, you know, that person lives close to me. So here, for example, Hillsborough, North Carolina is not too far away from me in North Carolina. Even though I teach at NC State, I live in Durham, North Carolina. So if I'd like to have kind of some discussions that are more local to the North Carolina context, and I'd like to do that with, for example, Sandy, I could click on Sandy's name and learn a little bit more about her. So this is now in her profile. And over here, you'll see a message. I could send Sandy a private message and invite her to join me perhaps in a discussion at a different time outside of the course. So you can contact individuals using that type of method. When you're in your profile, you could also edit this and consider adding a picture. Some of you have added a picture to your profile. If you have a picture or a fun, animated character that you would like to have, it just adds a way of us having some personalization in the course. So let me go ahead and continue down. Remember that in each unit, there is something that you have to do in order to actually unlock the rest of the unit. So in orientation, it was actually the Get Started. You had to open up Get Started and participate with that in order to get access to the other things in orientation. And if you are joining the course after week 1, you, in order to unlock anything else in the other units, you do still have to go back to the orientation and Get Started. That way, we have in there a video from me, and you get oriented to the course. You'll also notice, so I'm going to go down into Unit 1. So in each of the main units, you need to actually go into the Engage with Essentials and extend your learning in order to unlock the rest of that unit. You'll also notice that there are boxes to the side here, some of which have dashed lines and some that are solid lines. Those that are dashed lines are actually the ones that are required for your certificate of completion. And they will only get checked if you go into that activity and participate in it. And then once you have participated in it, the check mark will appear. If you go into the Learn from Experts, which I hope you always take the opportunity to actually go and watch these videos, you have the option to actually mark that as complete for yourself so that you can keep track of what have I done. So let's say I come in here, I have watched these different videos. Please also try to always scroll down to the bottom of the screen so that you don't miss things. If I have a particularly long page, I will often kind of put a note at the top like, hey, there's 2 videos in here, don't miss them. But when I come back out here to Unit 1, I went into the Learn from Experts, but it didn't check it off for me because it's not dashed. So I'm going to go ahead and check that so that I know that I've already gone to that page. Let's see, other things, the optional. These are things that I'm adding that have not been in the course before, and I'll add 1 per unit where it gives us an opportunity to kind of try something new. So for example, in the orientation, we did the Flipgrid, and in Unit 1, we're actually sharing images that could get us excited about real-world math using a tool called Padlet. And this is a tool that many of you probably have heard of or perhaps used before, but I have used it for probably 6 or 7 years. In my courses at NC State and with students when I go out into public school classrooms. And it's just a really great way for students to quickly share their ideas. I know, for example, my son's 5th grade classroom, on their class website during this time when we're at home, they have put up a Padlet and they've asked the kids to kind of share some of the ideas of things that they have been doing at home and to stay connected with each other. So if we go in here to our Padlet, we can actually see all the different folks around the world that have excuse me, added some pictures for us to kind of think about. Now, that's a cool one in Madrid. Look at that. How does perspective affect area? All right, so let's see. The demonstrate your learning. All right, demonstrate your learning. I put these in here if you're interested in kind of extending and applying, trying to apply what you're learning to your own practices. If you're actually engaging in this MOOC as part of a course, I do know that we have some university faculty that have their students participating, their university students, their pre-service teachers. And you could use this suggested assignment as something that they could turn into you. So these suggested assignments are not required to get your certificate. Your local district or education agency might give you some extra PD hours if you complete those assignments. You might want to check with them and see. But these are things that I am not going to be able to grade. There is over 1,000 of you in this course, and I am sorry, but I am not grading your assignments. These are just suggestions for things that you can work on yourself. I hope that you'll take the time to explore all the different things, not just the things that are required for completion of a certificate, so that you can actually get the most out of the course. So, for example, don't forget that in the Engage with Essentials, there's this second tab here to extend your learning. Okay. The other tab that has, section that has another tab is the Essential Exploration. So that's the one that you do need to complete for if you're working on a certificate and participating in the discussion associated with that. But we also have a couple other tasks that you can try out. And of course, we've tried to make these tasks really user-friendly so that you can take them and potentially use them with your students, either now or in the future when you are actually in a unit that is associated with that learning content. Check your understanding, or always just really brief quizzes that you can go into just to see if you have been able to acquire kind of the language and the critical ideas that are presented in the unit. We are not assessing if you can do things with technology. All right, these are again just kind of quick checks to see if you have gotten some of the main ideas related to teaching with technology that were presented. So please take the time to also give unit feedback. They're very quick surveys that just provide us with a quick glimpse of what you're getting out of the activities and what you found to be most valuable and things that we could do to improve the experience. All right. It also helps us to see like how many hours you have spent doing the different activities. So I really appreciate, again, all of us coming together in this learning experience. This is an exciting time. It's a scary time, I know. But as I've said before, I really think that we're going to come out of this with some great educational solutions to engage all of our students in deep mathematics. I think we have seen in the world that quantitative literacy is more critical than ever in how we are interpreting and reacting to different data and graphs and numbers that are being put out about the spread of COVID-19 and this worldwide pandemic. And, we are the ones who are in charge of sparking that curiosity and that learning of mathematics that is going to make future citizens really, really critical and have strong quantitative literacy. So excited to be here with you, and I'll check in with you again next week. Thanks.